Vivi Nefeltari, ladies and gentlemen, princess of the Alabasta Kingdom, daughter of Cobra, long-lost sister to Botan. She's an Aquarius, she has a duck companion named Karu, and right now, we don't know where the hell she's at. She was last seen at Reverie, but then she went missing, possibly in the weird dungeon underneath Castle Pangea, which you know for a fact that Im-sama has. Because if, I don't know about you, but if you just look at this guy right here, I know we've only seen his eyes. We don't even know if he's a guy exactly, but if you just look at those eyes, you know Im is into some weird stuff on the weekends, right? So, hope wherever Vivi's at right now, she's doing okay. It was stated at Jump Fest 2020, Oda sent a letter and he's like, yeah, this year in 2020, man, you know, Sabo's gonna, whoa, and Boa Hancock's gonna, and Vivi's gonna, I don't know. So we don't know exactly what Oda meant with that because he's kind of a troll, let's just be straight up. But something this year is going to involve Vivi. And Sabo as well, I think, is going to tie back into that because Sabo and Vivi were both last seen at Reverie. So it might be some kind of thing. Like the simplest thing you can kind of throw out is maybe Sabo and Vivi both were taken capture by the world government, and right now they're still in Castle Pangea, and so when we cut back to see what's going on with Sabo, just by connection, we'll also see what's going on with Vivi at the same time. Boa Hancock, that's something completely different because she's at Amazon Lily defending her island after the warlord system fell, so that's something different. But yeah, I for one think that the way Oda's gonna do this, he's gonna tie back in Sabo and Vivi's stories into one thing, okay? We'll get back to that in a little bit here. So yes, Vivi, the official member of the Straw Hat crew, kind of like Jinbei in that regard. They both have the color blue going on as well. But no, if you go the way that the Vivra cards lay it out, Jinbei is an official member, but also Vivi was stated to be an official member of the Straw Hat crew as well in the Vivra card. It's just she decided to leave for her own devices. The way that I choose to look at this, and you could choose to look at it however, when Vivi first teamed up with the Straw Hat crew at Whiskey Peak, you know, when it was revealed that she's not Miss Wednesday, she's in fact, you know, Vivi, Princess of Alabasta, and the Straw Hats essentially had to do an escort mission. Aren't those always the ones that suck the most? They had to do an escort mission to get Vivi to Alabasta and blah, blah, blah. At first, it was nothing more than just she was on the ship, she was a nice person, she got along with the crew, but I didn't consider her an actual crewmate at that point, okay? But over the course of Little Garden and then Drum Island, and of course the most overt one is Alabasta, because then we get to her home country and we learn all about her and why she's fighting and what she's doing and how she feels about her her citizens being just destroyed by crocodile and the drought that's plaguing the land, and she genuinely cares about her subjects, okay? She's not like the stuck-up princess kind of archetype, right? So that's when she starts to really connect with the Straw Hats on a deeper level there of trust and understanding, and the tear-filled goodbye at the end of Alabasta when she's standing on the shore as the Going Merry is sailing off, I like to think that moment right there was the moment she simultaneously became an official member of the crew, but also decided to leave the crew. That's the way, because that's like the height of emotion there, where she's like, you know, I want to sail with you, but I have to stay here. This is my home. You know, the subjects that I'm supposed to rule over just got through some of the worst time in their entire lives. They need me. They need their princess to guide them into this new age and stuff. And so I would love to journey with you, but I have to put like the needs of the many over my needs right now, or my wants. So I think at that moment when she raised up, and Karu as well. Karu was there. You get some love for the duck. You know, they raised up the, oh, is Karu Kaido? I have to do a video about that. That'll be coming up in a couple of weeks. I'll do a video on Karu maybe being Kaido. He's a duck. Kaido's a duck. I don't know. But anyway, that moment when Vivi and Karu raised their hands and their wings and they had the X and, you know, the Straw Hats sail away, that I think acknowledged, like, yeah, you are a member of this crew. You're always going to be a member of this crew. Vivi always has an open invite to go and join the crew whenever she so desires. You know, she could do that and the Straw Hats would let her on at any time. But she also decided to simultaneously leave at that point. So I guess if you want to think about it, this was right before Nico Robin officially joined, because then they're sailing away from Alabasta, and when they're a safe distance from Alabasta, then they notice Robin is on the ship. So I guess technically in that regard, Vivi became the 7th member, but then immediately left, so all the other Straw Hats get bumped back. But, you know, that's not the way Oda did it, obviously, but that's like in my headcanon, that's the way I view it, alright? So let's just keep that in mind here, okay? And let's also keep in mind, you know, that Vivi, on top of being a very kind princess, is also a fighter. Okay, she knows how to handle herself in a fight. Now, she doesn't have a devil fruit or anything like that, of course, but she was able to seep into the organization of Baroque Works, and she really did fool everybody at first. You know, I don't think it was ever, like, you know, backtracked like Crocodile was like, Princess Vivi, I knew from day one who you really were, you know, Miss Wednesday, no, I knew exactly. No, the way that this was explained was Igaram and Vivi infiltrate Baroque Works, managed to get a high position in the organization, Igaram becoming Mr. 8 and Vivi becoming Miss Wednesday. They're not officer agents, they were frontier agents, but still, you know, there were only 12 agents in that echelon, plus one otter, you know, and then their companions, like, unless you're Mr. 2, right? So they attained a high status in the organization, as about as high as you can get without devil fruit powers, right? If Vivi did end up getting a devil fruit power, she might have made, you know, the companion of an officer agent. Who knows, right? But anyway, they managed to get all the way up in the organization, and they were there for a little while, and only then was it, you know, they started seeping into everything. Crocodile, Mr. Zero started looking into everything, and it's like, wait a second here. The Princess of the Alabasta Kingdom looks like this. And that new recruit, that up-and-comer we just got into our ranks, Miss Wednesday, looks like this. And she has a companion that just happens to be a special duck species from the land of Alabasta. Wait a second here. Actually, now that I'm looking at this, it is actually ridiculously insane that they didn't figure this out immediately after she joined, you know? Like, it's pretty damn obvious when you look right at it, right? Like, Vivi didn't even attempt, like, she took her hair and she put it in a ponytail and she wore a sexy outfit. That was her disguise. You know, she didn't, like, maybe I should dye my hair blonde? Maybe that might throw them off? But no, they just went with it, all right? So my point is here, I would not like this situation to be like, okay, Vivi's been kidnapped by the Gorosei, or maybe not the Gorosei personally, but the world government. She's locked in a cell, and she's gonna play the role of, like, the princess in distress. No. I would very much like, and just throwing this idea out there, for one part, for Sabo and Vivi to team up, because they're both companions of the Straw Hat crew, why not, right? You know, there's Sabo's in the dungeon, Vivi's locked up somewhere, probably in a slightly nicer dungeon. I don't know, the way that Imu was looking at her picture, you know, implied a few things, right? So, I would actually like for them to team up, but more than that, you know what I would like? I would like the first introduction to Imu in this story, like, proper introduction to Imu. Like, we get to see their face. We get to hear their voice. We understand what their personality is, what they want in the world. I would love that first reveal conversation to be with Vivi. Okay? For a number of reasons. You know, number one, she has allied to the Straw Hat crew, so we know her as a character. She hasn't been, like, in the story in a main way. Like, Reverie was the first time Vivi's been, like, in this story in a relevant way since the Alabasta arc, okay? But we, long-term fans, we know about Vivi, okay? And we all like Vivi. I've never really seen a lot of people shit-talking Vivi on the internet. Like, Vivi, she sucks, I'm glad she never joined, you know? Most people talk very, you know, highly about Vivi's character, okay? So, that's for one thing, right? She's a character we've already been established. You know, I would love for, like, Robin to have a conversation with Imu, but that's probably not gonna happen because she's, like, in Wano right now. So, Vivi or Sabo, either or, but Vivi, let's go with that. So that's one reason. Another reason is, she is a princess, she is royalty of a kingdom. Alright, Imu is the supreme leader and the king, I guess, of the entire world government. In the state that it's not supposed to exist. You know, they're not supposed to have a single solitary ruler, dictator, king, god emperor, whatever you want to call him, but they do have one. So, from just, like, a political perspective, or, you know, talking about, like, you know, you represent everything the world government is supposed to be against. You know, like, that would be an interesting conversation to have. Imu very clearly does not care about his subjects. You know, it really does seem the way that the Gorosei were talking about it. You know, they were talking about doing another cleansing, you know, when the world gets maybe a little bit too riled up, or too many people are like making revolutions to fight against the world government. That's when the world government pushes the kill switch. That's when they're like, well, what was the last time we had a revolution? When was the last time we had a big uprising? About 250 years ago. How do we solve that one? Oh, with a cleansing. Ah, okay. Guess we gotta break out another one of those again. Hold on, let me get the advice from Im first. You know, the Gorosei, the way they bowed before Im, and they were like, you know, Lord Im-sama, you know, where should we direct your where do you want us to strike, so to speak? You know, where do you want to point us, and we'll eliminate whatever lights that you desire to be snuffed out. Okay, so yeah, I don't think I'm just feeling the vibes off of him. I'm not really feeling like is gonna be like, I care much for my subjects. I love every single person in this world. That's why we freaking hate them. You know, like, no. Seems to be like a cruel, oppressive ruler in the shadows, okay? In fact, you could say every negative thing the world government has done could eventually come back to Like, you know, could probably like, yes, let the Tenryubito go out in the world and do whatever they want. You know, that could have been Im's will, and that's the reason why they do it, right? So, that would be a good perspective there, like a contrast. Also the fact that Vivi is descended from the original 20 families that started the entire world government. That's the thing that you always have to keep in mind with Vivi's character, okay? Because it was never really directly addressed in the story in a big way. It was basically just said offhandedly. Like, I think it was during Dressrosa when it was mentioned that, like, yeah, these 20 families came together, made the world government. One of those families, the Nefeltari family, decided to branch off and go back to their ancestral homeland. All the other kings moved to Marijois, and new royal families were set up in their homelands. So in the case with Dressrosa, the Don Quixote family was the ones that originally set it up, but then they moved to Marijois, and so the Riku family was the new nobility that began from that day forward, okay? The Nefeltari family are the only family that didn't choose to do that. They decided to stay in their homeland. So, in a weird way, Vivi, as well as Cobra, if you think about it, are slightly related to the Tenryubito. Because if they decide, the only reason they're not Tenryubito is because they decided to stay in Alabasta. If Cobra's ancestor and Vivi's ancestors, they all decided to remain in Marijois, and then over the years, I mean, Vivi might not have been born in that context because, you know, it would be different marriages occurring throughout the centuries because they're living in a completely different place. But had that been the case, like, let's just say that all the marriages worked out the exact same way, Vivi would have still been born, except if she would have happened to be born in Marijois instead of Alabasta, she would have been a Tenryubito. She would have been born and raised as a celestial dragon, okay? So she's sort of like, she's got that blood, though, in her. She's got the royal blood from the original founders of the government, okay? Which is, you know, going completely seriously here. I don't think I mean, he might be, like, attracted to Vivi in that way, like, oh, she's very beautiful, right? Princess Vivi Nefeltari of Alabasta. But I think, you think is, like, one of those people that's, like, really attracted to, like, yes, Vivi. She's the one that got away. She's the problem child. I'm really attracted to that. You know, like, yeah, she's the one Tenryubito. She left. Her family left. She's the one thing I could never have. You know, and so that's why was, like, obsessing over her. You know, like, that, maybe, I don't know, but maybe not in that context, but of just, like, the Nefeltari family. Vivi is the last in that line. Cobra is most likely dead at this point, by the way, like, or if not, it's not gonna look good for him. Like, I honestly don't see Cobra making it out of this manga alive, alright? So I guess going a little bit too far. We don't know he's dead yet, but it's not looking good for Cobra, right? Even the Gorosei don't like Cobra. They said, oh, yeah, we don't, they treat by the way, the Gorosei's perspective on this, at least, we don't know what Im's perspective on it is, but at least the Gorosei's perspective is they view the Nefeltari family as just straight up traitors. They don't even consider them royal. Well, I mean, they have to consider them royalty, but they consider them like traitors to the original 20, right? They made it 19. You can't make a world government with 19. You have to have a nice even number, damn it. The Nefeltari family ruined all of that. But anyway, So for all those reasons, I would love for, let's say, yeah, Vivi got kidnapped at Reverie. She got thrown in a dungeon, in a waiting area. It was a nice dungeon. It has some cushions and some pillows. They gave her some magazines to read. It's like a doctor's office, okay? And then they summon somebody down into the dungeon. He's like, you have an audience with Im. Vivi's like, who? You'll find out. Come with me. And so I would love for that. Like, it's in the flower chamber where Im was like cutting up all those pictures. And Vivi walks into this flower chamber and Im is just like playing with butterflies or whatever, and then he turns around, or they turn around, and then it's revealed finally what they look like, is man, woman, ghost, zombie, alien, what's Im? And then we finally find that out, and we find out, they speak, and we learn like what they sound like and stuff, and then it begins like a conversation from Vivi's perspective, where it's like one wrong move, she says one wrong thing, and it's off. It's off with her head. It's over. Okay, so that would be a pretty good way to bring Vivi back, I think, and also give her like a tense situation. Maybe not tense in the situation of like a battle. She can fight, but I think in that situation, words would work more because she's a princess. She's royalty, right? So she has like a conversation of like I could see Im like playing with butterflies, and then Vivi arrives in the room, and the door shuts behind her, and then Im is just like, what makes a good king? Vivi's like, okay, I guess we're doing this. And it just goes off from there. Maybe a little bit more of a serious kind of conversation than we're usually used to seeing or hearing in One Piece. But, Now, also, I would love to see her fight again. Sabo as well. I have this image in my head of Sabo and Vivi teaming up and fighting their way through the freaking Castle Pangea to escape. Sabo's like, yeah, the Revolutionary Army. We have a boat at the bottom of the red port. It's off to the side. We have to basically get out of Castle Pangea, run through Marijois, jump off the side of the red line. Karasu's gonna catch us, and we're gonna get the hell out of here. And Vivi, I would like Vivi because she's got the peacock slashers. I feel like she wouldn't have just like stopped training with those. I mean, they're not the strongest weapon in all of One Piece, right? They're no Enma or Ame no Habakiri, but they're something. So they're running through the castle or whatever. Sabo's busting out his pipe. Sabo, it's very handy that he uses a pipe as a weapon, because he literally could just go into the bathroom at Castle Pan. They confiscated my pipe. Hold on a second. He just runs into the bathroom, just punches a hole in the wall, grabs a pipe, rips it out, and like, all right, we're good to go. And then he lights that up on fire. They're running through. The guards are coming. He's fighting people down. Vivi, I don't know. Maybe she keeps her peacock slashers in her hair or something, or her cleavage, whatever. And she just pulls that out, and she's like, oh, I can fight too. And it's just like whipping people down and stuff. And then they fight their way out of Castle Pangea. I'm picturing that in my head. That's pretty badass. Like, whoa, Sabo! Whoa, Vivi! I got little pennants like, Sabo, Vivi, we got this, yo! I ship Sabo and Koala all day, every night, all weeks, all months, all years. But this year's a leap year, and on that one leap day, Sabo Vivi. What was I talking about again? Oh, yeah. So that's an image that I have. Okay, we'll see where that goes there. Do you think that Vivi will eventually be reunited with the Straw Hat crew properly? If that were... Now, when I say that, I don't mean like, oh, it's the end of the manga, and the Straw Hats found Laugh Tale, and they're just like, we cut to like an epilogue, and we see Alabasta, and we see the Straw Hats hanging out with Vivi in an epilogue or something. Oh, they're finally reunited. No, I mean like Vivi reuniting with the Straw Hats properly, in the context of the manga, like during the main story. Holy crap, Vivi's back. She's here with the Straw Hats. Woo! Like something like that. Honestly, I used to think not, because, she's Princess of Alabasta. And then even when she went to Reverie, I'm like, okay, but she's at Reverie. That's at Marijois. The Straw Hats are all the way over here. But now with this new development going on, I could see, all right, she's going to spend some time in Castle Pangea. We might find out more about the Gorosei, how the world government's structured, Im, all that stuff. Got to figure out what's up with Sabo. But if Sabo and Kuma, let's say Sabo and Kuma manage to escape, or Sabo manages to get Kuma's robot corpse out of the place, he wouldn't just leave Vivi behind in that circumstance, right? You know, like leave Vivi to fend for herself. Because right now, all the other ships from all the other nations, they left. They're gone. You know, like all the like King Neptune and everybody and Shirahoshi, they all went back down to Fishman Island, and all the other kingdoms left. The only people that we know are left behind are Sabo, something's going on with Sabo, and something's going on with Vivi. That's all we know, right, so far. So if Sabo manages to, like, break his way out, he's going to bring Vivi with him, and then you'll have Vivi teaming up with the Revolutionary Army, which I could see a bunch of potential there. Vivi, you know, meeting Dragon and all that stuff, you know, that would be also for the same reasons I listed previously. Like, she's royalty, she's a member of the royal blood. Like, honest, yeah, I had one of those things. What are those things called? Hold on. Mid-video teching tumble. Okay, one of those things. Ideas. Okay. Alright. Okay. Dragon stated they're not trying to destroy the entire world government. They're not attempting that. Okay, they're not attempting to just bring down all of the world government and then just, you know, anarchy! You know, they're not attempting that, alright? They just want to get rid of the Tenryubito system, okay? Because of how corrupted and messed up that is. Like, honestly, if you just got rid of the Tenryubito system and that, like, oh yes, there's a bunch of people that can wander around and do whatever they want, whenever they want, and then slavery and all that stuff. They want to get rid of that crap, okay? They get rid of all that crap, the world government is still there, and I used to think, like, okay, well, who's gonna be the new leader, ruler of, or not, maybe not, like, absolute ruler, but, like, in higher power in the world. Like, someone has to be in charge. Someone has to take the place of the Tenryubito and the Gorosei and Im. You can't keep the Gorosei. Or, if you keep the Gorosei, you'd have to get rid of the current ones. Like, you could still call them the Gorosei, but, like, you know, and actually do it. Like, after the Tenryubito collapses, they elect 5, you know, council members that operate, that rule the world. And I could think, like, Dragon could be one of those, or Vivi. That actually makes a lot of sense, because it's like Vivi has the blood from the original founders of the world government, but she has, like, she embodies all of the positives from that ideal. She's a good, you know, princess. She's good royalty, right? So it's like she has the claim to the throne, I guess I could say that. Like, yeah, the Tenryubito are gone. Their bloodlines are all corrupted at this point. You know, they're all messed up, right? Mulesguard is okay, but he's one of the very few rare ones. So now we need some rulers in their place. We need, like, to elect a new Gorosei. Vivi, you have all of the credentials for that. You're a good ruler. You have the bloodline from the original founders. The only bloodline, the one family that actually chose to not be a corrupted piece of asshole trash. So you can either, Vivi becomes, like, one of the Gorosei, like the new 5 Elder Stars, or the 5 stars that rule. They might not be called Gorosei. Maybe they might come up with a different name or something, you know, like the Ultimate 5. No, that's Mob Psycho. But still, the Ultimate 5, right? Or they could do it a thing where it's like, you know what? We tried to do this world government thing for 800 years, and we lied to the entire population by saying there wasn't an absolute ruler monarch, and there was. So how about we do this? How about we have a committee member, but then Vivi is, like, you know, she's the monarch, she's the figurehead. You know, kind of like how the Queen of England is not, like, she doesn't hold all the power in her mighty scepter, but she's like a figurehead, you know, as like, oh, you can look to the Queen of England and, like, what she represents and what that still embodies what the throne is and all that stuff. You can maybe do that with Vivi, where Vivi's like, yeah, she can't just wave her scepter and be like, I command that all these islands be burned to the ground. You know, Vivi wouldn't do that, but even if she would do that, she doesn't have the power to do that, right? So you could have something like that, where you have the council of, like, Dragon and maybe the other revolutionary army, like Sabo, commanding this new world government, and then Vivi, like, represents, you know, like, the figurehead and, like, the monarchy, kind of, in a good way, right? So, let's go with that! Sure, fine, okay. Vivi sits on the Iron Throne, on the empty throne. Well, I guess it wouldn't be empty anymore if, you know, someone sits on it. It's not an empty throne right now, so that's kind of a bullshit name. Right. But, yeah, so, but before all that, though, what was I, revolutionary? If she joins up with the Revolutionary Army, they have a network all over the world, so the Revolutionary Army going anywhere actually makes perfect sense. So if she joins up with Sabo and Dragon and Koala and everybody in Vonkov, it's like, hey, some really serious stuff's going down at Wano, or some serious stuff's going down at Elbaf, where the Straw Hats are, or Laughtail, or Lodestar, or wherever the hell the Straw Hats are at, and you want to say Vivi's going to team up with the Revolutionary Army and travel to wherever the Straw Hats are, that makes 100% perfect sense to me. Or maybe not even like all of the Revolutionary Army is going to go to one place, but it's like, hey, yeah, some crazy stuff's going on in this part of the sea where the Straw Hats are at. We're going to send Karasu, Bello Betty, and Sabo out to investigate. And Vivi would be like, oh, the Straw Hats are there. Can I go with you? I want to see them again. And at this point, like, what would Vivi do at this point? Like, I don't think Vivi, if she does learn everything about, like, Eames' plan and the Gorosei and all this crap and how corrupted the world government really, really is, I don't think Vivi would just be like, guys, just Revolutionary Army, thanks for saving me, just take me back to Alabasta. You know, like, no, I think she would be like, I mean, she would be concerned about Alabasta, but I think she would be like, holy crap, like, you understand that Eam and the Gorosei might reveal to her because they think there's no way she could escape. They'd be like, you understand we're going to do a cleansing, and, you know, your kingdom and every kingdom is going to be eliminated. All the kingdoms that we deem unnecessary are going to be buster called into oblivion, right? That's going to happen soon. And then Vivi escapes with the Revolutionary Army, and they're like, holy crap, okay, this goes beyond just the Alabasta Kingdom. This goes beyond just what I can do. You know, this might even go beyond what the Revolutionary Army can do. Like, we need to stop this. And so Vivi's like, okay, I need people I can trust and that might actually have the potential to do this. And she's been keeping up to date about the Straw Hats and Luffy and, you know, Fifth Emperor and all that crap. So it's like, I need to reunite with the Straw Hats. I need to tell the Straw Hats what I learned, and we need to all team up, and we could actually, then only then we might have a chance at actually doing this, all right? So yeah, that's a way I could see Vivi teaming back up with them and being a proper member of the crew for, like, the later stages. I mean, Jinbei could also pop up, you know, whenever he decides to join, you know? We shit on Jinbei, but it's like, all right, whenever Jinbei does properly appear, hopefully at Wano, we'll bake him a cake, we'll welcome him with open arms, but until then, we're just gonna give him an endless amount of shit. Be like, come on, Jinbei, where are you at? Where are you at, buddy? Vivi has a reason. We know where Vivi's at right now. She's tied up in political madness right now. You know, where are you at, Jinbei? You're on an undersea Denny's, pounding back a Grand Slam? Come on! Alright, well anyway, that was the Vivi video. I feel like I've crafted so many interesting ways that Oda could take this, and I have no idea if he's gonna go in any of those directions I just listed. He could just reveal, like, oh yeah, Vivi was thought to be kidnapped, but she just fell asleep, and there she is. Oh, okay, we're good. You know, like, no, they're gonna go something with Vivi, and that's like, you know, being prisoner in Pangaea, that makes sense. You know, Im-sama talking to her, that makes sense to me. Teaming up with Sabo, this makes perfect sense to me. I don't know about you, but what do you think, Barry? Oh, Vivi ends up getting a Logia. Never thought about that. Well, there is that Yuki fruit that's floating around somewhere. Snow Power Vivi. Alright, I'm gonna get going now, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Yeah. Viva la Vivi. Signing out.